Welcome to Ghosts and Ghouls. This photo was taken by Mrs. Gregory during the 1977 Silver Jubilee celebration. The photo appears to show a spirit walking behind the children. Although Mrs. Gregory states that there was no person present when she took the photo, many believe that the figure is the spirit of an old teacher. This photo was taken by Sybil Corbett in 1891, on the day of the second Lord Comberemere's funeral. Sybil set up the camera and used an hour-long exposure. After the photo was developed, an image of a man sat on an armchair appeared. Lord Comberemere's children claimed that the image was of their recently deceased father and reported that the armchair was his favorite. Many believe that the spirit of Lord Comberemere returned one last time to his beloved home. This photo was taken in December 1924, after several witnesses saw faces in the waves following the ship. Seaman James Courtney and Michael Meehan were assigned to clean out a cargo tank. While doing this task, they were overcome by gas fumes and died before help could reach them. On reaching port, the captain handed the camera over to officials of the city's services company, and they sent it directly to their New York office. When the film was developed, it appeared to show the heads of Courtney and Meehan, exactly as they had been seen when on board ship. Whilst visiting Fleet Air Arms Station in Yelverton, Somerset, Mrs. Sayers' friend took a photo of her sat in an old helicopter that was part of a Falklands War exhibition. Mrs. Sayers stated, although it was an extremely hot day, the inside of the helicopter felt unnaturally cold. After the film was developed, the image of a phantom pilot showed up. Mrs. Sayers stated that no other person was present at the time the photo was taken. Many people have speculated that the figure could be the spirit of a deceased pilot killed during the Falklands War. In 1980, Chris Brackley took a photo of the inside of the St. Botolphs Church, London. When the photo was developed, the figure of a person in old-fashioned clothing could be seen in the loft area. Experts have stated that the photo was not caused by a double exposure nor faulty camera equipment. A few years later, Chris was contacted by a builder who had been employed on restoration work in St. Botolph's crypt. He explained that in knocking down a wall, he had inadvertently disturbed a pile of old coffins. One had come open to reveal a reasonably well-preserved body, the face of which bore an uncanny resemblance to the figure that Chris had captured. On January the 22nd, 1985, an annual dinner was held by the City of Coventry Freemen's Guild, attended by the Lord Mayor and Lady Mayoress, as well as Councillor Walter Brandish and his wife. During the meal, a photo was taken to commemorate the occasion. After the photo was developed, a hooded figure, who was reported not to have been in the building at the time, was photographed. Many people have reported seeing the ghostly figure of a monk, and chanting has also been heard in the vicinity. On September the 19th, 1936, Captain Hubert C. Proven, a photographer working for Country Life magazine, and his assistant, Indre Shearer, were taking photographs of Raynham Hall for an article. Whilst setting up for a photo, Shearer claimed to have seen a misty figure descending the staircase. Proven and Shearer quickly took a photo of the staircase. When the negative was developed, the famous image of the brown lady was revealed. The photo was published in Country Life magazine on December the 26th, 1936. Photographic experts could find no evidence of trickery. It is believed that the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall is the spirit of Dorothy Walpole, who was said to have been imprisoned at Raynham Hall by her husband Charles Townshend. Her spirit has been sighted on many occasions. This photograph was taken at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, Chicago, on August the 10th, 1991 by Maury Huff, a member of the Ghost Research Society. Maury used infrared film during the investigation. The Ghost Research Society stated that no living person was in the area at the time that the photo was taken. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery has often been reported as being haunted. It is speculated that the figure is the spirit of a woman called Mrs. Rogers, who searches for the grave of her child. There is an unnamed child's grave close by. This photo was taken in 1919. It shows a group photo of the Royal Navy Air Service of the squadron of HMS Daedalus. It was taken 2 days after Freddy Jackson was killed in an accident with the plane's propeller. In 1975, retired RAF officer Sir Victor Goddard brought it to the public attention. It is suggested that the spirit of Freddy Jackson joined his crew members for the photo. He was identified by several witnesses who recognized his likeness. The Reverend Kenneth F. Lord took the image in 1954 at Church of Christ the Consoler, Newby. When taking the photograph, the Reverend claimed that he was on his own at the time. After the film was developed, the image of a tall monk-like figure was revealed. There are multiple reports of photographic experts examining the image and finding no evidence of tampering. In 1966, a retired Canadian reverend and his wife visited the Queen's house. The reverend and his wife had heard about the famous Tulip Staircase and took a photograph. It was not until they developed it once they were back home that they saw it had also captured the image of a shrouded figure. The reverend and his wife were adamant that the stairway was clear, and they took the photograph. The negatives and the photographs were sent to Kodak Laboratories after vigorous testing. Kodak concluded that neither the print nor the negative had been tampered with. This photo was taken in 2006 in Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Louisville. Waverly Hills is said to be one of the most haunted buildings in Louisville. There are many theories of who the alleged ghost is, from a former patient to a nurse, Mary Lee, who hung herself inside room 501. It is suggested that Nurse Mary Lee became pregnant and hung herself. Another version states that the nurse contracted tuberculosis and hung herself out of desperation. The figure shows a remarkable resemblance to the photo of Mary Lee. On March the 22nd, 1959, Mrs. Mabel Chinnery and her husband visited Mabel's mother's grave. When they arrived, Mr. Chinnery stayed in their car as his wife went to the grave of her mother. Mabel had just gotten a new camera. She had brought it on her trip to take some pictures of her mother's gravestone, who had died a week prior, after taking several photos. Mrs. Chinnery saw that she had one picture left, so she pointed the camera at her husband in the car and took the picture. When they got the film developed, she saw a figure sitting in the back seat of the car that she identified as her deceased mother. The photo has since gone through tests by photo analysts. According to the experts, the figure in the photo is not a reflection or a double exposure. In 2003, two girls in the city of Manila asked a stranger to take their picture with a smartphone, a Nokia 7250, according to the Ghost Research Society. Two girlfriends were out for a walk one warm night. One of them asked a passing stranger to photograph them using her cell phone's camera. The photo seemed to show a transparent figure seeming to tug on the girl's arm with a firm and friendly grip. Mrs. Andrews was visiting her daughter's grave in a cemetery in Queensland, Australia. Mrs. Andrews saw nothing unusual when she took the photo of her daughter's grave. When the film was developed, Mrs. Andrews noticed the image of a small child sitting on her daughter's grave. The ghost child seems aware of Mrs. Andrews since they are looking directly into the camera. Mrs. Andrews said there were no children nearby when she took the photograph. Investigating this case, Australian paranormal researcher Tony Healy visited the cemetery in the late 1990s. Near her daughter's grave, he found the graves of two infant girls. In 1966, Gordon Carroll had set up his camera in St. Mary the Virgin Church, Northamptonshire, to take photos of the altar and stained glass window. When he developed the negatives, one frame showed a mysterious figure kneeling at the altar. Yet Gordon Carroll states that he saw no one in the church when taking this and other photographs. His camera and film were examined by experts. The figure appeared on only one frame and was not a reflection or a double exposure. In 1992, the owner of Myrtle's Plantation took a photo that many believe captures former slave Chloe's spirit. The photo was intended to be used to secure an insurance policy. The presence of a human figure within the photo was undiscovered until it was developed. The owner reports that there was no one in that area at the time the photo was taken. Chloe's spirit is said to haunt the plantation. Chloe for many years fell victim to the owner's cruelty. It is said that she killed the owner's daughter and wife by adding oleander leaves into a birthday cake. Her fellow slaves, in fear of repercussions, inched Chloe from a nearby tree. Ever since, it is said that her spirit haunts the plantation. This photo was taken on the 22nd of November 1990 in the churchyard in Prestbury in Gloucestershire. It was Derek Stafford who took the photo, and he chose the churchyard as it was foggy and thought he would get some interesting effects on. The photos, all of the photos taken that evening, appeared just as Derek had seen them through the viewfinder, and the spectre was on the last photo. The Black Abbot is regularly seen in the church and the churchyard. He is most often seen during Christmas and Easter. Diane and Peter Berthelot visited the Worstead Church in 1975. Peter took a photo of his wife sitting and praying on one of the church benches. When they reviewed the developed photos, a figure appeared to be sat behind Diane. They claimed no other person was present at the time that the photo was taken. Mrs. Berthelot said she felt a calming tingling sensation whenever she looked at the photo. This photo was taken by photographer and graphic designer Neil Sandbach in 2008. Neil was photographing some scenic shots at a farm in Hertfordshire as part of a project for wedding stationery. Later, when Neil examined the digital photo, there appeared to be the figure of a small child looking around the corner. Neil stated that he was quite sure no one was there at the time. The staff at the farm admitted the figure of a young child dressed in white night clothes, had been seen on several occasions around the barn. Subscribe for more spooky content.